Hello, my name is Maxwell Warren, and this is the Global Learning Project Interaction number 2. And I talked to my old roommate Tao. He's a student here at MSU, and he is from China. So we talked about motivation for a tiny bit, and we both kind of understood what motivation is, and it's pretty much the driving fact of why we do certain behaviors. And I asked him what a few motivations for him were, and he said for him it was a good job and money, um, which doesn't seem too out of the ordinary. Uh, and then we talked about intercultural sensitivity through denial, defense, minimization, acceptance, adaptation, and integration. And at this part, uh, before I thought he would at least be in the adaptation stage because he's been living here in the US for 3 years, or 4 years. He spent a year in high school. Uh, So I believe he would have at least been in the adaptation stage before I went into this, and then I just explained the different stages to him and asked him a few questions in between. The denial, I said, only focuses on themselves and their culture is important. Only their culture is important. They have an unwillingness to recognize different cultures, and he somewhat commented, one main comment that I took away from what he said was, I feel like many Americans are like this, which is a little bit correct, but if you're really thinking about it, but it's not that they are unwilling to recognize, is that maybe that they are in a few minimization techniques and they don't really know how to react to Tao's different culture, and he may not know how to react to us, so I think it's a little bit not completely true, but that's one thing that I took away from him saying. Uh, the defense, uh, I said mostly based on stereotypes and generalizations. The us versus them, it's two polarizing groups, and that way you could say one culture is better than another, which is false, but that's what the defense uh, type is, station. And then minimization may not understand their cultures and therefore other cultures. They have an overgeneralization of acceptance, so they're just like, oh yeah, I'm totally down for anything, or everybody's perfect, and also overgeneralize or overestimating their own understanding of other cultures, so they feel like they know far more than uh, what they actually do know. They're a little bit naive. Uh, and acceptance, or for minimization, we talked about things that we both have in common. So we both talked about what we want to have later in life, and we both very similar things like family, children, and a home, a job, and he also said video games, which I mean we both like video games, but I thought that was funny. Acceptance. Our culture is one of many cultures, and does not mean agreement, which does not just mean agreement. And the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes or self other perspective, um, and that's just understanding that yes, there are other people of other cultures, and what about if I were from their culture, and it's may not be 100% correct, but it is an understanding that yes, it is there, and yes, it is something that they do, that they find value and respect in. And then adaptation is can function appropriately in other cultures, so they can go to another culture and act at least appropriate, separate from uh, just trying to add other cultures in, which may seem like a sacrifice on one's own culture, but that's only in some context. Uh, you still would be American if you went to another area, uh, but you could always try. If somebody is new to America, we could always try and adapt and have them be their own cultural differences and American. So kind of add, but you have to. It's a little bit more difficult than just adding the different types of cultures together. It's a little bit more multivariable, and that's when it goes to integration, and that is a very variable, multifaceted type of integration of other cultures and really what you do and identify yourself in. And then we talked a tiny bit about education differences. And he said in American school, teachers usually have low respect. And a few things he said, like we can eat in class, talk without our hand being raised, or yeah, without our hand being raised, and it really rewards people that are outgoing. And in China, he also said that the teachers are very high respected, very highly ranked. Teachers get paid more than teachers here, and students aid the teacher in the classroom. That's by cleaning or just by everyday tasks. So there's a little bit. It's a little bit odd about how the teachers there, I felt, have higher respect, and overall, I felt like Tao was genuinely pretty decent in the intercultural sensitivity. So I enjoyed talking to him about this. It was pretty fun.